Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the third webinar of our Visibility Day today. Thank you so much to those that have joined us for all three. If you have joined us for all three, you get a sweet treat, which you can definitely not say after a drink, a sweet treat, which we will be sending you afterwards. So thank you, and I hope you've really enjoyed them. They've been fantastic so far. We had the lovely Mark Tompkins this morning, then Catherine George, all about getting visible and getting visible on social, and they've been so brilliant. And now we're joined by the lovely Betst Benn, who's going to be talking all about get selling, how to turn browsers into buyers. So before we start, we just want to say thank you so much to Lloyds Bank Academy for your support on this day. It's been fantastic so far. So a bit about Lloyds Bank Academy is it's a free on-demand online learning platform providing resources and help for people and their businesses to increase their financial resilience, digital skills and employability. The platform has business-specific topics, free for anyone to help and support their business journey. So do find out more by scanning the QR code here, and we'll pop the Lloyds Bank Academy website in the chat as well. We've also got Adam from Lloyds Bank Academy, who will be joining us in the chat. So he will be there to share any relevant links. So thank you again. Do scan the QR code there. So we'll crack on. We're going to be talking all about selling. Oh my goodness, the important stuff, right? Why we're all in business with the lovely, lovely Betst Benn. Now do have a look at Betsy's gorgeous business and product range. It's absolutely beautiful. And especially, we don't want to say the C word, but Christmas is coming, isn't it? You know, we have to get mindful. So have a look. And if you've got any questions, like always, pop them in the Q&A box at the bottom. We'll do our very best to get through all of them. If we can't, we will make sure that we follow up with you and we'll answer anything that hasn't been answered during the session. So enjoy. Huge thanks, Betsy. We'll hand over to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you, Small Business Britain. Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming to the session. And thank you, Lloyds Bank Academy as well. Can you believe that this is free? This is amazing. Yes, so we've had a couple of talks already this morning. Get Visible, Get Engagement. They were ace. I watched both of them. And today we're going to be talking about Get Selling. A little bit about me. So Betst Benn is the name of my company. We make luxury stationery, art prints, homeware gifts, bits and pieces like that. We were established in 2010. I did a little count up this week, prompted by the webinar. We've made over 208,400 sales, which equates to over 1 million individual items. That made me gasp a little. We are currently the #1 seller in the stationery category on notonthehighstreet.com. We're a little team. We're just a team of 4 ladies working our butts off in Cheltenham. And I personally am a big fan of biscuits and spreadsheets. So that's just a little about me. Today, what we're going to talk about is how to get people over the line. So we're going to assume that you've done the Get Visible, you've done the Get Engagement, and a customer has found your product, they're on your website. We need to get them over the line to make the sale. So we're going to look at that customer behavior and what goes on for them. Then we're going to think about a phrase, don't make me think. Basically, let's make that purchase a no-brainer, yeah? Our brains love to automate things and leave lots of capacity for dealing with actual emergencies. So tap into some of that automation and we'll look at those kinds of topics. Photography, we're going to cover things that I believe great photos should include to increase the likelihood of making a sale. I'm not going to tell you how to take a good photograph, although there'll be some of that in there. If you are interested in resources about photography, product photography in particular, drop me a DM or an email later on and I can point you in the right direction. Then we're going to talk about pricing and the impact that has on purchasing decisions, lots of them. Then we'll dive into product descriptions, how to use that to make the conversion, the why, not the what, but also a little bit of the what. Then we'll just talk a little about reviews, the know, like, and trust, the consumer confidence that just helps to drive that sale, UGC content, and post-sales communication, all that just really sort of give more social proof to you as a business and encourage that sale. And finally, we'll talk about the role of testing. So customer behavior. Here's what we think that they do. They arrive at the homepage, navigate around to a product, they read the full product description and emotionally connect with us and our mission in life, and they get us, yeah? They click through all the images in the carousel, they fully understand the product and all the service and the benefits to them. They add to the basket, they check out, leave a review, and become our BFFs. Of course, what they actually do, and this is just one version of what they might actually do, is they arrive at a product page, judge the first image, consciously or unconsciously see the price, make a judgment about that too, hop around a bit, around about the site, go to the homepage, who are these people, make more judgments, back to the product page, skim read a few things. Typically the things that pop out to them are the things that meet their current needs. They might visit a category page. Is this the one version of this product that I want? Have they got other versions of that? Then they might add to a basket, but then they might start thinking, oh, do I trust this? Do I trust this business? Do I trust them with my money? Then they might Google a discount code. Can I get this cheaper? Maybe they'll sign up to a newsletter if they really want a code. Then it's back to the basket. Then hopefully they will check out. Then they might realize they've forgotten something and email you without an order reference and assume you know exactly who they are. And they might leave a review and they may well shop again. I really, really love looking at my stats on Shopify to see what they do and when they do it. But obviously, they're not visiting your website from the vacuum of space. Other life comes in and fights for their attention. So there's other things going on in the background. Oh my God, the birthday is next week. The dog is barking. The postie's at the front door. I'm going to send a link to this product to my bestie or my mum for an opinion. Somebody in the house needs a snack, or somebody at work wants something doing, or the phone rings. They might wait 2 days, 3 days, a week. How close is payday? Can they afford to buy this thing right now? A work project is suddenly urgent. So there's a lot going on, and we need to help our customers really get through all of this chatter and make the sale. Whilst they're doing all of this, if you look, and I've just highlighted here, these are the questions that the customer is picking up in their brain. How much is it? Who are these people? Does it meet my needs? How much is delivery and how quickly can I get it? Is this the one I want? Do I trust them with my money? Can I get it cheaper? And I think inside these snap judgments that they're making when they see product photography or prices, we've got a whole other set of questions that comes up. Is that product or service good quality? Is it value for money? How do I feel about the person or the company behind it? Do they match my value sets? If it's a gift, does it say the right thing about my relationship with the recipient? That's a really big one. Is this company easy to deal with? How easy is it to navigate your site? Are they professional? All of those things will help people to make decisions about you. And it's not even on a conscious level, it's all quite subconscious. You know that if you've gone to a website and it just looks a bit ropey, your trust in committing to a checkout is lower. And then will I be able to contact them if I need help, if there's an issue, which is then we'll talk about post-sales communication. So your one job now is to remove all of those questions. Sounds easy. So let's go through it. Let's break it down. Your website. There's a really great book by Steve Krug called Don't Make Me Think. It's all about web usability, and some bits of it will not be quite as relevant as other bits. But there's this one particular bit that he talks about called the Godfather test, which I love, and I'll just go through it with you. His theory is if you hang out with the mob, at some point you could end up blindfolded, whacked over the head, bundled into the boot of a car, driven out into the middle of a desert, and landing on a product page from a Google search, for example. It could be the e-commerce equivalent of being bundled into a car by the Godfather. So how quickly can your customer ground themselves? How quickly can they figure out where they are, what company they're with, what department they're in, what you sell, if it's right for them? If you can imagine being godfather dumped into the kitchenware section of John Lewis, pretty quickly you're going to know, you're going to see their branding, you're going to know where they are, you know who they are. You'll see products beautifully displayed around you. So you'll know what kind of section you're in, you know what you're going to be able to buy there. You might even see directional signage in the ceiling pointing you towards other departments, and almost certainly one for customer services and probably one for the loo as well. If you get Godfather dumped into the middle aisle of Lidl, it's a very different experience. But again, the same things will apply. You'll know where you are, and they're very different things. So what we find is that most people don't actually start their journey on the homepage. They start from a Google search. If you think about the last time you Googled for a product, it was either product specific, something to fill a direct need, or maybe you were looking for something, a product or a service that had a more general fit for you. Maybe it was a personalized birthday gift for a 50th birthday, or maybe it was a course on SEO skills or something like that. You probably then landed on, well, you've had a Google search result page, and then you will land on a product page. You're very unlikely to land, first of all, on a homepage. So just try and think, like, if you're landing for the first time on a product page and nobody knows anything about your brand or your business, how quickly can your customer understand who you are, what your values are, whether you're a trustworthy business? And that leads us through nicely into conventions are your friends. So we've all been using the internet for quite a while now. We have certain expectations about what we'll see when we go onto a web page. Almost always the logo of a web page is up top. Sometimes it's up top on the left. We will expect to see things like a contact us button. There might be an about us page. There might be a blog page. These are all things that we kind of expect to see. If it's a product offering, you'll expect to maybe be able to find a page or a tab about delivery. Use those obvious things. Let the automated brain kick in and not question where's the contact us button, where's the blog. I can't find what I'm looking for is not a great position for your customer to be in. Don't waste time or money making something funky just for the sake of it. If you're Andy Warhol or Lady Gaga, you can be funky just for the sake of it. But if you're not, use the conventions. Format text also for scan reading. Most of us scan text. So if it's broken down nicely into chunks, 1 and 2 sentence chunks are brilliant. Anything longer than that is more difficult for us to quickly read, and much more difficult for us to quickly read on a mobile device. And mobile devices are being used so much more now than laptops and PCs for shopping. They just are. And really, lastly, make it obvious what is clickable. These 2 buttons here, this add to cart button is a very obvious button. It says add to cart. I'm going to click that if I want to buy the thing that I'm looking at on that page. This is a cute way of phrasing add to cart, like make it mine, or you're mine, or come to mama. But it's not what my brain is expecting to see. So it just gives me a minute pause, and it's not obviously a button. So just use the conventions that are already out there to really help you push people towards that seamless checkout process. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the website. Mark did an amazing job of doing that this morning. I just wanted to say as well that the homepage has such a lot to do. So if people do go from your product page and then go to your homepage and they want to find out a little bit more about you, it's got all of this to do. It's got to demonstrate who you are, what you do, the kinds of things that can be found here. It likely hosts a search function. It likely hosts promotional features and buttons. It's likely to host a newsletter sign up section, probably a permanent one somewhere at the bottom. It might also have pop-ups like introductory, first time customers, please have 15% off if you shop here, and sign up for the email. It might have a login if it's got some kind of service offering. And it also has to support the confidence in you as an e-commerce or trading establishment and company. So just don't let it become a carnival poster. Really think about what needs to be on the homepage, what can be subtle, what can be brought out with more emphasis, and think about the first time somebody sees that. It's really difficult for us to sort of pull ourselves away sometimes and look with a little distance at something that we maybe see every day, and have fresh eyes to look at it. So if you can get people in to have a look at your homepage, that's a really good thing to do. Also, if somebody has navigated from product page onto your homepage, or even if they're just coming from your product page and they're looking up a level, make sure that you use your mega menus and filters to do some of the heavy lifting. On a product basis, I love Oliver Bonus and Holly & Co for their mega menus. I think they're really good examples of how to structure things and group things in a way that people actually look for things. So you can pop along and see them at some point. And then we get to photography. And again, I'm not going to tell you how to take a great photo, but I just want to look at some of the bits and pieces in photography that I really think help to push a sale. The first, I think, is having cohesive backgrounds for your products. So whether you use exclusively cutout images or exclusively lifestyle images, or a mix of both, if you're going to use lifestyle or flat lay, I think it really helps to enforce your brand presence if you can keep a good cohesive theme running through your products or your imagery. This is just an example from our website. Our notebooks on the left-hand side there, we tend to use this kind of duck eggy blue background. Where we don't use it, we use the sort of softer orangey pink color that is another one of our brand colors, to break it up in a collection and give a little bit more interest. And then for our Christmas decorations, we go a little bit out there. We use the navy from our brand colors and the sort of soft out of focus Christmassy lights, partly to denote even the change in the seasons. It becomes a lot darker outside, and we can get a bit moody with photography and really create some interest. But also partly because every single Christmas decoration seller out there that I see takes a photograph of their Christmas decoration on a Christmas tree. Now we do that as well, because I think it's nice to sort of show how it looks on a Christmas tree. But the first image we show is always on this blue background. It's immediately visually grabbing. We're the only company that use that kind of color scheme and that kind of look. And if you have ads that follow customers around, the other added benefit of having a cohesive background for your photography is that immediately when that is presented back to your customer, they'll go, oh, yeah, that was Betst Benn. I now recognize the style of her photography. So creating a recognizable style through the use of cohesive backgrounds or other bits and pieces will really, really help establish your brand. And the more that you can establish your brand, the more likely that you'll make a sale on maybe the second visit or the third visit or the repeat sales. The rest of photography, styling, I find, is really key. These are just some more photos. These are the other photos that you'll see on our notebooks. We tend to use the same props across the range. So we've got this kind of copper is one of our accent colors. We've got these sort of copper paper clips in 1, 2, 3, 4 of the products images. We've got this blue pencil in 2 or 3 images. We've got we use this gold pen quite a lot as well. We've got paper clips, we've got rolls of washi tape. And throughout all of our stationery range, you'll see those props repeated. It just, again, gives the impression that this is part of a range. It increases confidence and just really gives it that thought through look, makes you look really professional. Scale as well, I think, is very important to make sure that you are using props to create scale in your photos. A pencil next to a notebook, it makes sense. We're going to cover scale and props in the same thing. It makes sense to have a pen or a pencil near a notebook, and it gives you, your user, your customer, an idea of the size of the thing. Props we've sort of covered, but they are useful to suggest ways in which something can be used. I like the notebook there with a sort of cup of tea in bed in the morning and a pencil. That kind of gives me the impression that that's a journaling kind of situation going on. Lighting and colours. We tend to use a lot of natural light. I think that makes it feel more like a real product. The colour on the image of on your website, try and get that as close to the color of the real life product as possible. I see so many websites where the product photography is either too lowly lit or too brightly lit. And so when that product arrives with your customer, yes, okay, they may have already bought that thing, but they're going to receive that thing and maybe be a little bit disappointed if the colors aren't accurate. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. And I always try and bring my brand colors into my photography, just to keep pushing that message of I'm a professional organization. Oh yes, we've got those colors again. Whenever you see them again, you're going to remember that that's me, that's my brand. So we have this duck egg blue. We have this sort of pinky orange in the stamps here. We have the navy. All my text is navy on the website. We have the pink of the duvet cover. We have the pinkish washi tape. It's subtle, but if it brings your whole range together in a way that people aren't really necessarily aware of. And it just, again, increases consumer confidence, which is just the big thing that we need to, establish to make a sale. You can also convey a lot of information in photography that may well be in your product description, but if somebody can absorb it visually, then they don't need to waste time reading about it. So we always have a photo of what the gift wrapping looks like and an awareness of what the price is to add gift wrap. We always have a photo somewhere of the inside of the book. People can't pick up that physical product. They can't turn it over. They can't open it when it's on a website. So do that for them in your photography. And yeah, there's a bit of suggested use going on there as well for teachers. And this is one of our teacher notebooks, and obviously note taking. And then we come on to pricing. So here are 4 50th birthday gifts. And so I'm going to ask you to think about if you are shopping for a 50th birthday gift. Suppose it's your work colleague's 50th birthday and you've been working together for 3 years. Which one of these products might you be buying? What if some of you from work are all chipping in together? What product are you buying then? What if it's your bestie's birthday? Are you buying an £18 notebook or are you buying a £45 cushion? It's your best friend. What if it's your spouse of 25 years? Are you buying him an £18 notebook or her an £18 notebook? Or are you buying them like a £300 canvas or a framed print or a cushion? Having different price points within the same range of products or services, I think, is crucial. Everyone has a budget in mind when they start shopping, and it differs for the person and for the occasion, and essentially for the pain point. You'll know if you've ever bought flowers for your mum, if you've just gone if you've been doing the grocery shopping and you've just picked up a bunch of daffodils because they're bright and you'll be seeing her later and they'll cheer her up, that's an appropriate, immediate flower spend. If it's her birthday or Mother's Day, you're probably not going to bring her a £2 bunch of daffodils. You're probably going to spend a little bit more. Same person, same product, different occasions. If you don't have a price range on your website or in your services or in your products, if you only have an £18 notebook, that's all that anybody can spend with you. If you only have a £295 canvas, no one can shop with you who needs something just a little less than that. Don't make assumptions about people's spending power either, or when in the year that they're going to be able to afford an item, because we just don't know. And we don't know if it's one person buying or if it's a group of people buying. But I think the key to take away from this slide is have a full range and allow people the freedom of choice to buy what works for them in that situation. I am just going to talk about two other things as well in this group, and I've changed this price here, if you'll notice in the corner. There's anchor pricing and charm pricing, which is just worth a mention. Anchor pricing is introducing something as the first solution at a higher price. So this works really, really well for courses and services. If you introduce a product or a service at a certain value, and then the next option is lower, and then the next option is even lower price, having the more expensive item first sets that anchor price as a reasonable amount to pay for this solution. It may not be reasonable for them in that particular moment, but it's reasonable in the world. Yeah. It automatically makes the next thing more appealing in terms of price. It feels like it's more value. Particularly, this bust blind canvas is one of our most expensive items on our website. It takes a long time to produce. It takes a lot of materials. It's nearly £300. This bust blind print is essentially the same style of print. It captures a lot of the same information. It taps into the same market, but it's less than half the price. So understanding that this exists at one higher level makes this one feel more achievable than if the first price that somebody had seen was an £18 cushion, and then you're asking them to come up to an awareness that £115 or £300 is still an appropriate solution for them. Charm pricing is on the other end of the spectrum, where you will see things that end in .99. It works on the principle from in left to right reading cultures that the first digit you see is if it's cheaper, lower. So you'll quite often see things for 19.99. 17.99 sounds better than 18. We don't do that, but charm pricing can work again well. It can work really well if you want people to feel like they're getting a deal. So it can work in sort of promotional ways if you're doing a 3 for 2 or something, and or you're doing a special discount and you have something that was £25 and is now 19.99. That feels like a really big discount. But it might be detrimental. That's the only caveat if you want to convey luxury or quality. To prove this to myself earlier today, I went onto the Liberty Love London website, and I was convinced nothing on the Liberty website is going to end in a .99 or a .95. And the first bit I went into was handbags, and for sure everything was 150 or 370. There were no .99s. And then I went into their Christmas decoration section, and every Christmas decoration was something pounds and 95 pence. And I was disappointed that my theory was incorrect. But then I remembered who their customer is. And their customer who's buying handbags at £370 does not want a bargain, does not want a deal. They just want a beautiful handbag at £370. But the people who come into Liberty and buy Christmas decorations, yeah, who is that market? Who is that customer? They're tourists. They're Christmas shopping specific. They want one special Christmas decoration for that year. They've got a very different mindset to the customer buying the handbag. So of course their pricing is going to end with 95p. Me, with my Christmas decorations, they are all round figures. They're whole pounds or 50 pence prices, because my customers are buying Christmas decorations that I'm making, and they're all personalized. And for me, for the people that shop with me, £18 is a lot to pay for a Christmas decoration, or £23 or £15. So I want to convey quality. I don't want to convey that they're getting a bargain. If they want a bargain, they can buy bargain Christmas decorations at Home Bargains. So just have a think about your pricing and who your customer is and what you want to convey. There's a whole lot of pricing psychology stuff out there that you can read. Product descriptions. I watched Mark's talk this morning. Brilliant. Absolutely, really, really useful, full of information. And he and I agree on the write for people, don't write for Google, don't write for bots. But also pay attention to Google. Absolutely write for people to make the sale. Connect with people on an emotional level to make the sale. Give them the information that they need to tell them that you're solving a pain point for them, you're solving a problem for them. I just sent an email out recently with a link to an academic wall planner, and I'm sending that to parents of kids that are going off to university for the first time. And the things that the pain points that I'm pulling out are, you've got a student going off to university for the first time. They might be a bit nervous, and having this beautiful, but as an academic version, having this beautiful eye-catching wall planner, in their room or in their student kitchen, it's the ultimate conversation starter. It's the icebreaker for the nervous students. The other pain point I'm resolving is the distance, this new distance between family and child. And I've written in the email, sit with your child and write things on their planner, like weekends when they're going to come home, family birthdays. Maybe write a few cheeky comments on some days, like go do some laundry, buy a vegetable, eat a vegetable. So I'm really sort of tapping into, I'm not selling them a planner. They can go and buy a wall planner anywhere. I'm selling them something that's going to give the kids some kind of hook to start a conversation with new people that they're meeting, and a connection to family life at home. That's what I'm selling. But pay attention to Google. So when I'm listing this product on the website, I'm putting that it's a planner. I'm putting that it's inspired by paint chips. I'm putting that it's large and has got lots of space to write in. I'm picking out the key terms that I've researched that other websites use when they're selling their wall planner. So don't write for Google, but pay attention to the key terms, the long tail key terms, the descriptors that Google need to show your product to your customer. Yeah, so there's a real blend and magic that happens there. Because also you will have people who want to dive into a product description, get the bare essentials, and they're in and they're out. You know, they haven't got time to read all of the bits and pieces. But you will have customers that want to read everything that you've written, and they will go over it a couple of times. And then you've got a spectrum of people in between. All of that information, if they don't need it, they'll disregard it. It's not going to stop a sale, in my humble opinion. If there's too much information, obviously don't write a novel for every product, but I would err on the side of have a little more than a little less. I would not want a customer to get to one of my products and think, I just don't know enough about that product. I needed to know this. You know, why is that worth that amount of money? What's so special about it? If your customer doesn't need that information, they'll filter it out. But the ones that do need that information will appreciate it being there. The above the fold is super important. The first two sentences, get all of your important stuff there. Mark talked about the meta title and the meta descriptions. Your product page, when it's shown in Google, the title will be the title of the page. The first sentence that you use to start talking about your product will also appear underneath it. He gave a great visual for that. So if the immediate information is in there, this is a 50th birthday milestone notebook, vegan leather. If all of that is in the first two sentences, immediately people are, yeah, that's what I need, bye. The rest can come further down. So get the first two sentences, killer, and the rest can come later. Collapsible tabs are a really great way to achieve some of that information and to make it look beautiful. We don't have that yet, but we will be, because we're getting a new theme, and it's all the background stuff is happening. Holly & Co use that to good standards. I like the way that they use that. And your collapsible tabs can have on it things like delivery information, FAQs for that particular product. It might have size and dimensions, or if it's food, it might have, you know, dietary information, something like that. It's a really useful way to make your product page look lovely. Reviews, I've kind of squished this into product description because I think that they should be there. I think if you are able at all to integrate a review onto your product page, then you should. We have Google reviews, we have Etsy reviews, we have Not on the High Street reviews, but the ones that, and they all appear instantly on the product pages. But it took us a while as a small business to get our reviews onto our product pages. And we use Judge Me. I'm really, really impressed with that company. That's a recommendation from me. And also try and use as much user-generated content as you can. If you get a photograph from somebody of their dad opening, you know, the thing that you've made and they've bought, that's gold dust. That's social proof. You made a product, you sent it out into the world. When somebody ordered it, it got there okay. They gave it to their dad. He opened it with a big smile on his face. It is a little bit monkey see, monkey do. I've seen this arrive with this person and they've loved it. And we really, really connect with human features and humanity in images. We're programmed to do it. We're a social species. So if you've got somebody, even if it's just their hands opening a product, it feels more real. It feels like it exists in reality rather than something that's a flat lay or something that's just a cutout. And if you get photos from other people, just amazing. Just, you know, add them to your gallery. Definitely use them in your emails, and ask for it. Ask for it if you're not naturally getting it. And please, can you send me a photo? An eye on time. And then we get to after sales care, because we don't want them to buy just once. We want them to buy again and again and again. An absolute bare minimum is an order confirmation with an order number and some kind of information about what's going to happen next. I don't know about you, but I'm a bit of a sucker for late night scrolling on my phone and seeing something and immediately just buying it. And then if I've clicked through Apple Pay, I haven't, I've just done the very, very fastest possible shop out. I haven't got an order confirmation. Nothing's come through to my email. And then I'm sitting there going, did I complete the checkout? Did I actually buy that? Is that going to arrive? Have I just been scammed? So you do not want your customer to think that if they've got all the way through to buying something and then you're not following through with the last bit of love, it's such a missed opportunity. So an order confirmation with an order number that they can quote back to you if there's any problems. Shipping confirmation with tracking is kind of expected. And again, a bare minimum. It's just, again, goes to confidence of this is a professional organization. And request a review within a suitable time frame. If you're making, if your products are going out quite quickly, I wouldn't leave it more than a week before you send out a review request. People have got a lot on and a limited amount of concentration. So you want to get that review request landing quite close to the day when they had the product arrive. Not before, but a day or two after. And then follow up with some kind of way of, can we add you to the mailing list? So an email at the end to ask for a review and can we add you to a mailing list? And then a very, very good way of continuing conversation with that customer is to build an email flow sequence that takes them maybe to some other product, that other people that have bought this product have gone on to buy this particular thing. Or the next year, say they bought something that was from a birthday collection around about that time next year, are you going to be able to email them and say, oh, you bought this last year, have you got a birthday coming up that you need to fulfill? Which is essentially saying, will you be my e-commerce BFF? Mm-hmm. And then the last slide for me is testing. Just testing. Just test everything regularly on all the devices, on all the browsers. Test it again, then again. Test how the text looks. Test how quickly your site loads. Do the images render differently? Is the layout okay on all of the mobile devices and the PCs and Firefox and Safari and Chrome? And especially test checkout. If you have got your customer through from being engaging with you, discovering you, understanding what you're all about, liking a product, setting it into a basket, and some small thing, a checkout, fails for them, they're probably still going to figure it out, and they might, message you and ask what's going on. But that last hurdle, man, that would be a crying shame to let one little hurdle through the lack of testing. So just make sure you test everything. And after every theme update, and then again before any kind of peak trading period for you, for me, that's Christmas. And check the post-sales emails and flow. And do it at least twice a year thoroughly. I cannot overemphasize testing. If you can get somebody in to sit with you, somebody who maybe isn't your best friend and so just gives you lots of lovely positive feedback, but maybe somebody who and they don't necessarily know your business very well, just get them to look at your website and just watch them. just say, just pop them in front and go, go shopping or go find out some information and just watch what they do. You'll be amazed at the things that they do or don't click on that you would thought were obvious. Yeah. And I've said little magic goes a long way because just a little bit of testing will really, really will just highlight some things that were things that you might have missed for the sake of just 10, 15 minutes of having a look at something once a month, once every 3 months. That is me done. Very happy to take questions. Thank you once again to Lloyds Bank Academy for sponsoring this and enabling this. Thank you once again to Small Business Britain. And thank you for listening. I hope that's been interesting.
Betsy, that was fantastic. Thank you so, so much. Really appreciate it. Full of loads of information, and everybody's been helping each other in the chat, which has been amazing. We've got a few questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, lovely.
First of all, if you sell a broad range of products, this is from Heather, and some of the products clash with your brand colours, is using a white background better more than a lifestyle photo for the website?
So I looked at Liberty for this exact thing this morning, and Liberty with their handbags, they have 2 photos and that's it. They have one with a person holding the bag, in use, and one cut out because they've obviously decided, and I think quite rightly, that you want to see it in use. You want to get an idea of the scale and the size and how far down the body it hangs or the color of it. And then you just want a really clear, detailed what you're getting in the handbag. So I would say, mix and match, and make, if all of your products, I mean, we've got so many different products, and that's why we use the cohesive background just to bring that color in. Work out what is most appealing to your ideal customer. What do they need that image to convey?
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And talking about photography, what would you suggest for a service brand to help bring the idea of cohesive backgrounds? Because it's always a bit tricky, isn't it, for service brands compared to product?
I think the service type business, you're selling yourself essentially. So I think you're selling yourself or your knowledge or a course, and I think you can still brand it. I think you can still use cohesive backgrounds. I think you just need a good portrait photographer to get that started correctly, and a good brand. And you'll find, I think you'll find that flows through really well.
Yeah, brilliant. And Tracy's put here, what tips do you have to make my very first sale? Oh my goodness.
Oh, your very first sale. I'd love to know what you make. I don't know if we can like wait for Tracy to.
Yeah, let's go back to it, no problem.
Yeah.
Celia's just said, can you have too many photos of a product?
For the speed of your site, for sure. I think have a critical eye to it. Yes, you probably can. If something comes in 30 colors, I wouldn't have 30 images showing one color per image. I would group them into summer colors, autumn colors, group them into a way. But I don't think you can have too many, but have your own critical eye on it and think, is this photograph doing anything different, or am I just repeating it for the sake of? What I really love about photography is that you can name each image with a very descriptive term, and Google can read that, so you're increasing your search visibility. And yeah, no, I don't. I mean, you don't have 200, but if you need, like, give the customer everything that they would need to see in a product. If it's something that opens, show it open. Yeah.
Yeah, got you. And then on the other side of the spectrum, Lisa's just asked, if I only have one product, it gets really hard to promote it. Any ideas?
Um, don't worry too much about over promoting. What you think of as over promoting is probably not.
Mm,
The amount of times that a person needs to see a product to commit to buying it can be as high as 30 to 40 times, and they need to see it across multiple touch points, multiple platforms. So you might feel that you have put 6 images on Instagram that week of it. You've done 7 stories on Instagram in the last 2 weeks. You've made a reel of it. You've done an email about it. You've, I don't know, walked it down the street. I don't know. It's very unlikely that your customer has seen every single one of those marketing touch points. They might have seen one Instagram post. They might have only seen one email. They don't read and consume marketing content like a novel. They don't go from front to back and see everything that we put out there. So yeah, it feels like you're flooding with one image or one product. But the reality of who actually sees all of those things is not as bad as you think.
yeah, so keep going,
Keep
basically.
going. Yeah.
Tracy got back to us, the lady who was asking the question before. Sells hair and skincare products.
Hair and skincare products. First sale.
Get us someone gorgeous to have it on your hair,
Yeah.
or something.
I just as long as just as long as the descriptors are good, and I don't know where you're selling, whether it's through your own website or through Etsy or a platform, but um, the first sale of something sometimes needs a promotional offer. So you might want to look at making a promotional offer happen, but just keep trying different things, keep trying different avenues and different marketing strategies. And it's not that I think a lot of times people come to an e-commerce situation having never trained in it and having no experience in it. That was definitely me. And it's not the electronic equivalent of putting, apples on your doorstep and an honesty box. You can't just put a product out there and hope that someone's going to walk past it and hope that they're going to put money in an honesty box and take an apple. You have to take the apples to the customer. It's not apples, but so take it to where they're hanging out. Take it to Instagram. Take it to Facebook. Take it to TikTok. Try lots of different things, and you find your customers, find where they're hanging out, and keep pushing. Keep swimming.
Amazing. And Catherine's just put in the comments, actually, for beauty products, I'd like a few samples maybe first. So that's quite a good one, isn't it? Get people to do a few reviews, real life in situ, as it were.
Definitely.
Last question before we wrap up from Sarah. How do you find using Spotify? We run craft workshops and sell products and have been advised this would be the best site for both of these. What do you think?
Shopify, I think maybe. Yeah, I love Shopify. I had a shop on Magento for a while. I don't even know anyone who writes in Magento anymore. Personally, I love Shopify. It's just got so many integrations with everything else. You need to be able to integrate to, customization apps and checkout apps and Klaviyo I use for my email marketing. That's got really great integration. And there's just where the volume of people are tends to be then where the volume of work gets done. And what I find with Shopify and also with WooCommerce, and there's another one, Squarespace. If you need a developer to change something for you, it's really easy to find them because they know that that's where most people have their websites. And so most developers, coders are proficient in those back ends. So yeah, I really like Shopify. Yeah, big fan.
Brilliant. Good to hear. We have got a few more about Spotify here, but we do have to wrap up, unfortunately. But we'll make sure Betsy gets your questions. A huge thank you to you, Betsy, for joining us and for hosting such a fantastic webinar. And thank you to everybody that's joined us today on this incredible Visibility Day. We have learned so much. My goodness, my head's hurting in a very good way, but it's been wonderful. If you've got any feedback on the webinars, please do click on the QR code. Thank you so much to Lloyds Bank Academy for all your support here. Please do check out Lloyds Bank Academy. There are so many resources there, all for free, that can really help you and your business. And huge thanks to Adam from Lloyds, who's joined us in every webinar today. Really appreciate it. So have a lovely rest of day. The sun's come out here, so wonderful. Hope it has where you are too. And thank you again, Betsy. It's been brilliant. Have a great
Thank you
day.
so
Take
much.
care. Bye.
Bye.